Welcome back to Just in Our Minds. We sat down with Rachel Elnani and Rachel Herments, or also known as Rachel Claire on her social media and across the board, I think even on her website. So we got to talking about everything holistic health for women. So this podcast is action-packed with a lot of good information, and we go real deep in a lot of great areas for many women. So listen to this podcast, and it's going to be a good one. Lots of tips and tricks. So today we're going to be talking about everything holistic health, and especially for you ladies, because my podcast audience is 48% women and was at 52% male. So I wanted to bring you lovely ladies on because I love both everything y'all talk about. So some of the things that we want to get into today are going to be maybe the beginning steps of what maybe women can take for holistic health. That was one question I'd like to start off with, and then we can get into some of the other options for us. So feel free to take it away.
Rachel team?
Yeah,
Rachel team, go. First steps for holistic health. I go back to the basics. I have 8 big basics, but I would say, what is your sleep like? What is your hydration like? What supplements are you taking? How are you eating? You know, what's your stress level? What's your environment look like? And I would start with 4 or 5 of just like, okay, here's your job. Clean up your environment and understand where you're at. That's my first step.
Yeah. I think the term or the word like holistic gets thrown around so much. So I think people have like a kind of a warped like understanding of what that means. And when we say it, I think some people jump to like, oh, okay, like what should I try? What supplements should I take? Like, you know, all these different kind of like tools, I guess, when it's exactly what you just said. Like holistic care is looking at like the basics, and all of them, not just nutrition, not just what supplements you're taking. It's also, your stress, like what's going on in your life, what's your home environment like, your relationships, exercise, movement, all those things. I think genuinely that's the step that people skip a lot of the time when we're talking about like more like natural or holistic approaches.
No, it is so convoluted. It's such a interesting term nowadays when you hear that, or like mindset coach and all these other things. That there's so many people that just did this like fitness guru thing and don't check a lot of the boxes, or they don't live the lifestyle themselves, which is a big one too. So for women, what are some of the first indicators that you can see that women have issues with hormones and maybe they should get some sort of testing done, or they're not feeling good? What are some of those indicators that you could maybe point out that are red flags that women should really look into?
I mean, I think the most obvious one to me is like any irregularity around their menstrual cycle. Like if you're, skipping periods or have like crazy symptoms with your period, or you're noticing like specific symptoms in certain parts of your cycle, that kind of thing. It's like, okay, like our cycle is very much hormone driven. And so like, is that always like the actual problem, your hormones? Maybe, maybe not, but that's like the easiest indicator that something is going on hormonally. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, same. It's a huge indicator, right? Because it happens every 28-ish days. So we have a good meter to follow. I am more on, personally for myself, my cycle has been like, it is what it is, but I have all these other symptoms that happen around it. And I have now come into my peri little flower. So I am realizing, wow, this is a real thing. I've been treating women for years, but not understanding the symptoms completely. And now that I feel them for myself, I'm like, okay, cool. It is not the week before my period and I still want to kill someone. Or right now I wake up and my eyes are completely blurry. Like it takes me an hour to start focusing. And so, these are perimenopausal symptoms. And you're like, okay, there's something going on. How do I fight what's naturally going to happen in my body versus, is this normal? Is it my diet? Is it my stress level? Is it whatever? So looking at it holistically, but with a W.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
like that. The holistic,
Yeah.
the whole logistics.
Exactly.
Yep, yep. I think, yeah, with perimenopause, it can be a little bit less straightforward for people. But what I commonly see, and like a lot of the times when like people come to work with me,
Hmm.
it's like I have tried doing what I've always done to like get my health back on track or
Hmm.
like to feel good. And it's not having the same effect. I think that's kind of like what I hear as like
Hmm.
that first thing of like, they're not really sure if it's hormones. They're not sure if it's perimenopause, like those kinds of things. But they're noticing that like what they did in the past, maybe like in their 20s, like isn't effective right now.
Right. And I think we have two categories of women. Women more like us who understand, how to eat better and to check the
Mhm.
boxes, let's
Mhm.
say. And then you have this category of women who have never done a cleanse, maybe never really done blood work, maybe a couple times just as standard PCP
Mhm.
regimen. But they haven't looked into their health
Mhm.
because they've been skating and it's been fine.
Mhm.
And now all of a sudden the rug has been pulled out from underneath them and they're like, why do I feel so bad? And you're like, actually, this has been building for a long time. You just haven't noticed it. Maybe
Yeah.
because you take an Advil every day, maybe because you're drinking your Diet Coke or whatever it may be, right? We
And the
see that
damn
across
birth control.
and the birth control. Thank
Oh,
you,
Lord.
Justin. Like,
Are we
holy
gonna dig
cow,
into this?
Yes.
we're there already.
Yes.
BCC. Yeah, the birth control. Holy Hannah, I feel like we could have an entire podcast
We
segment
can.
on just
We
birth
can talk
control.
about that too.
Yeah.
I'm not
down the
sure
road.
that is the
No.
point here, but
Yeah. Right.
birth control, let's go down that route. Like they're seeing like, oh, the hormone and the chemicals in birth control are exactly what contributes to breast cancer
Mhm.
and the hormonal cancers.
Mhm.
So you're like, sweet feminism for the win.
Woohoo,
We're
right?
in control
Yeah.
of what? What are we in
Well, it's a
control
wild thing
of?
too.
Yeah.
From my understanding, wasn't it created by a man?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all
I'm like,
created by
okay,
a
that
man
makes sense.
who has
Yeah.
zero clue what it's like to be in a female body,
Mhm.
right? All of it. I could get into breast implants with that too, because created by a man who wanted the look and the feel. I'm like,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and how many of us give in to it? And it's rare to find a woman who hasn't had any form of birth control, at least
Mhm.
somewhere in her life.
Right.
I even did it for short stints twice.
Same. Learned my
Um,
lesson really
No, I'm just
fast.
kidding.
But all the endocrine disruptors, I had
Yeah.
breast implants, took them out. I used to do, these extended lashes. I used to have nails. I
Mhm.
used to use all the products that should never go in
Mhm.
or around our body.
Mhm.
And it's just a process of learning.
Mhm.
And I think that back to like the original question is the most important part about where is step one?
Mhm.
And I think evaluation or, kind of auditing your life. What does it look
Well,
like?
it's crazy too what the body does with stuff like breast implants and birth control. Like you have like with the calcification things around the breast tissue and the implant itself. Like so, I with birth control, I dug into it once. Frankie brought it up to me. She's like, "Do you understand how bad it is?" And I was like, "I do not."
Mhm.
So
No, 'cause
she
I've never
like,
had to
yeah,
take it.
we're-
Yeah,
we
I
were able to-
haven't thought about
no,
it.
no, yeah, exactly. My
And-
version of that is
And do you
completely
know
different.
that they did go down the rabbit hole of like, why aren't men taking birth control? Why aren't we giving it to men?
Right.
Women already have to deal with so much and they can get anyone pregnant,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
That's what when my oldest child is a boy, as soon as we knew it was a boy, right? And I go to the pediatrician and we're getting the little snip, which that's a whole nother conversation I could go into. But
Mhm.
he's like, aren't you glad you got a son? And I was like,
What?
why are you saying that? He's like, I was so glad I didn't get a daughter because now I only have to watch one penis instead of a million penises. I'm like, that was weird to say to me, but
That's really strange.
I'm a 24-year-old mother and I'm just like, now I'm thinking about all the penises. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, but to your point, it's like, all right, sperm count versus egg count.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Like, why is birth control so predominantly like focused on women when one egg a month usually.
Yeah.
Versus,
Gazillion swimmers.
yeah,
Well, I
forever,
mean, it
basically.
probably
Okay,
goes
not
back
forever.
down
but
into like the whole
basically.
archetype of men and women back in those ages too. When people, I bring some of my friends are like, oh, I wish it was back in the old days. I was like, where men beat women most of the time, and they didn't have like a position point, and they couldn't be bosses and stuff. I was like, I don't know if I want to go back to that, And they're like, oh, like, so it's that whole. Unfortunately, it was that side of things too. I feel like it was. Now that it's an equal playing field, it seems like more men are getting snipped
Yeah.
than the women have, because they see the difference there, because men can still produce testosterone, maybe not as high, but it definitely
Yeah.
is less.
It's a surgery that has a 6-week recovery
Mhm.
instead of a procedure
Yeah.
that literally you're fine within 24 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not supposed to have unprotected sex with blah, 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 but whatever.
Well,
Yeah.
and then all the levels of it too seem like it sucks. What's the other one? The IUD? Yeah.
IUD. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like a good.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's hormonal and non-hormonal, but the problem
But-
is it's a foreign object inside of your
Yeah.
body.
And the non-hormonal copper-based,
Copper-based.
its purpose is to cause localized inflammation. And which, out of all the things, lesser of the evils, for sure, right?
True.
But especially with women who have already any other diagnoses, autoimmune conditions, anything that could be related to inflammatory issues,
Yes.
that it's literally just causing more inflammation.
Right.
On top of the fact that sometimes hormones can be altered still in that situation, or from other aspects. And when we have a lot of hormone imbalances, it's impacting. Okay, little bit of a tangent here.
No, go
but
for it.
so if you're
This is
following
about
me.
tangents. Rachel tangents.
That's all I do.
But then when we have these hormone imbalances and kind of that mixed messaging in our body, it's impacting our gut. So I take a very gut focused approach to hormones. Even when women come to me talking all about their hormones, they know something's wrong. I'm like, okay, yes, probably. But root of that sometimes is gut related, and it's so connected, so it's kind of hand in hand. But when we're having issues with the microbiome, then we're not allowing our body anti-inflammatory processes. We're not giving it what it needs to help deal with inflammation. So it's double-edged sword.
I would say it's rarely not a gut issue.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Because most
100%.
women come to, and it sounds like both of us, and say, you're testing my hormones, right? Or
Right.
what are my hormone levels? And I'm
Right.
like, why are you worried about those?
Yeah.
What do you know about hormones or hormone levels, or even what hormones we're looking at?
Yep.
And they're just like, I don't know.
I've just been told it's
yeah.
hormones.
Test your hormones. And you're like,
Yeah.
did you know sleeping is a hormone process and
Yeah.
growing hair is a hormone process?
Yeah.
And they're like, huh.
Uh-huh.
Did you want to test that too?
Uh-huh.
So we're not going to start with hormones. We're going to start with what changes hormones in the body, right?
I love that you said that,
Yeah.
because even so many people in our industry are they just market and just attack hormones, because that's what women are concerned about, and people profit on that worry and
It's a
fear.
fear mongering.
Yeah.
It is. And
Yeah.
they're
and
like,
so
oh, this makes sales. This gets reels
I so
going.
appreciate that perspective, because hormones might be a problem, but they might not be the problem.
Right. So I have a story, my tangent for a moment. I am 45, so I am going through the perimenopause. What 2 months ago, I'm like, Justin, my shoulder hurts. Oh my
I was
God.
gonna throw that in there,
Oh,
but I
here
didn't.
we go,
You
the
were
story.
about to go about the
I'm
shoulder
like,
thing, but
we
I
have
was
to
like,
fix this. It's a
Yeah.
perimenopausal problem, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, right? And then I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to give in and actually test my hormones, right? I'm of the age where I do all the other checks.
Yeah.
Let's just test the hormones, which I only do once a decade. And I'm only 4 years into my decade. And so I'm like, okay, reluctantly, right? I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do
Yeah.
it. It took me forever.
Yeah.
I do it, right? They pull the extended panel. Everything's fine,
You're
which we
within
get. We
levels.
see those
Yeah.
women.
You're
Your levels
normal.
are fine. Okay.
What the fuck
You
does
could
normal mean?
maybe use a little bit more DHEA and your D3, but I already know I've tested my genetic code. I know that I run low in D3 and I constantly have to supplement. I need to be in the sun eating fish. That's why am I not in the beach? But I was like, okay, I'm open to this. I get all the suggestions by someone who just does hormones in a Western medicine sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, all right, thank you for that information. The only thing that I'm not really doing here is DHEA. I will start taking DHEA.
Mm-hmm.
Start taking it. I'm supposed to start my period 2.5 weeks later. I start a week early and I bleed for 2.5 weeks. I usually bleed for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, primrose path. What just happened?
Yeah.
So then my friend ChatGPT, I'm telling Justin things. I'm like getting online. Chat's like, yeah, sounds like you got too much DHEA, right? Because this is an area I don't know in this body.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, tell me the antithesis of this. How can I switch this really fast? And it's like, Chat says, take Vitex. And I was like, awesome. For those of you who don't know what Vitex is, it's chaseberry. It's going to help balance out what was happening with the DHEA. So within a day, 24 hours, whoop, flip that switch. And I was like, okay, so ladies, there are quick fixes sometimes.
For sure.
But if you choose the quick fix, the easy button, you're probably not going to add any quality of life. We want to make sure that we're checking all those basics first and then start to feel out into your body. Now I take chaseberry every day. I'm feeling amazing. I mean, there's still stuff. I told you I can't focus on anything for about an hour, but such is life. If that's the worst symptom that I have, I can live with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think we just need to come back full circle to, okay, what is your specific body doing and saying? And maybe you don't understand how to listen to that message yet.
Right.
So work with a Rachel.
Yeah.
And learn how to
Find yourself a Rachel.
find yourself a Rachel.
Luckily, I have multiple now.
Yeah, he has a Rachel circle.
Well, now with Rachel Brooks Smith too, I was
Exactly,
laughing the whole group.
We
If you're
need
ever free
her on
Saturday,
here.
you should come over to their group.
Yeah.
They do that Saturday fun day thing. It's
fun.
it's way fun.
Yeah.
Rooftop workouts, very
Nice.
fun. Very conscious eaters. Like
Yeah.
you look in their fridge, it's going to be like any of ours. It's
Yeah.
everything's safe to eat and drink.
Yeah.
The fun thing about Rachel is she grew up with a mother like us. And so she knows a lot. And then she's the party Rachel.
Yeah, always dancing. I love
Yeah.
her
Always
personality.
dancing.
Yeah.
And so you're like, all right, girl,
just see her in
this
the
is the fun
background.
side. I mean, that is one of the things that we need to check box, the movement and the fun. Fun, I think, is huge.
Well, that's what
So
I
big.
tell people is, I think anxiety, there's many reasons, but part of the reason is we learn how to stand up and talk, and then we're forced through the Rockefeller system to shut up, sit down. And then as soon as we start having hormones start to flow, we lose recess. And then we just have to
That's
sit down, and then we have to pay taxes after that. So
And then we die.
yeah, but it's so not only is there a vitamin and mineral deficiency, it's a movement deficiency.
Yeah.
We were talking about that before. You
Yeah.
can even build the biggest muscles, doesn't mean then you have big muscle groups and your body's not functioning as well. Before we get off this topic though, I've noticed, and this apparently this is categorizing women in general, and I'm not saying it's everybody,
Yeah.
but I feel like on top of like people identifying with their astrological symbols too hard, I feel like they're starting to use hormones as an excuse, and they're not looking at their environmental factors or their bad habits. So for most of the women, if I ever have a woman client, I make sure I talk to Rachel, I'll talk to you too. And that's something I see. It's like, what level do you see it as? Like, yes, there are hormonal imbalances, but a lot of them are caused by lack of awareness or lack of accountability for their habits and or environmental factors.
Yeah.
There are so
Yeah.
many avenues we can go down,
Yeah.
right? I mean, yesterday I was answering questions to somebody about glyphosate. Let's just start there and like the chemicals that go into changing our hormonal patterns.
90% of things out there too have it.
Right? It's
Roundup.
in literally everything. And it all came about because I was at a chiropractic office where they were having like a little gathering and they gave us little snacks and they're like, these don't have gluten and these do. And I'm like, why is it gluten?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Right.
do we know what gluten is?
Yeah.
And then most people are like, no, is this a trick question?
Right.
You're like, gluten is a protein.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to biologically be able to process it. It is
Yeah.
literally supposed to be the staff of life. And it's supposed to be part of how we get our carbs through a wheat or a grain, right? And this is the protein inside of it. And through glyphosate and other fungicides, herbicides, pesticides, it has encapsulated the wheat or the protein. And so our gut sees it as a foreign object and something that's poisonous. And then it breaks down into something that we store. And then it embeds and we have leaky gut. And it's just a horrible process that's happening. And what? What did we already establish? Changes the gut microbiome, which then in turn changes hormonal patterns. And I think at the root, we can start to blame it there. Not that I love the blaming, but let's figure out what it is.
Monsanto's. Meta, please don't block me again.
We are not. But if we track it back, they started spraying in the 80s.
Yeah.
And so you look at that and go, I mean, I was born in 81. My entire childhood was ridden with this horrible chemical. And that's just one of them.
Yeah.
And how things have changed. And we wonder why couples can't get pregnant.
Yeah.
And we wonder why there's a massive amount of cancer and all the different things that are, I mean, autoimmune is through the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone that walks through my door has some sort of autoimmune disease. I'm like, oh, cool. How many? And how many organs are you missing? That's the count that we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
So back to the original question, which was what?
It was, I mean, you kind of asked like, okay, how much are people blaming hormones?
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Or like, yes. So I feel like there's women out there that are identifying way too heavily with, it's because of my hormones. But then you see them drinking on the weekends and you know, it's the mucosal lining and there's different factors that are causing the autoimmune issues.
Yeah.
But like, there is an influx. It's men and women. It's not just women. Apparently, men have hormonal issues too.
They just don't talk about them.
That seem like
they
they're
just
PMSing.
secretly get over there and get some test.
Right. Right.
Just give me the shot. Everything's fine.
But we don't have like a square. Using it as like a metaphor, I guess, or an analogy is like we don't have like that square block anymore. Everybody's trying to cut corners, so they just want to live in this
Easy
circle
button.
bullet train society.
Mm-hmm.
But I see it a lot. They're like, no, it's because of my hormones, and I'm like, but it's your environmental factors that are causing this, your gut, and so that was just something I'd like to hear your opinion on. Is
so
like,
they're
how many do you
passing
think,
blame is what you're
passing
saying.
blame or not
Instead of
taking accountability for the rest of everything. And they're just like,
because they think hormones are not something that they're doing. It's just a fact of life.
Yeah, like it's oh no, it's genetic.
Yeah,
you know, and it's the factor, the environmental factors, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's a huge problem, and something that I try my best to help the people in my like circle and my clients and things like unlearn very quickly is that, okay, yeah, we can do all this testing, which this kind of goes into another thing of like being kind of in the functional medicine world. People spend like bajillions of dollars on testing and blah, 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 when the root cause is their lifestyle, is their habits, is their nutrition. So I'm not going to say like, sit there and be like, well, you're the problem. That is true. But
no, that's what I'm saying is the environment. Yeah,
but like, it's like, okay, maybe we'll get some information, kind of see what's going on. And then we have that teaching moment where it's like, here's what's going on and here's what I'm seeing from your life. And here's how we make the change. And so I think it's so important that, you know, especially if people are, you know, in these economic times, like, you know, tight with budget and things like that, it's like, all right, maybe don't go and spend $1,000 to get all of your hormones and everything tested and Maybe work with someone to help you figure out the foundations, right? The nutrition, the exercise, the stress management, because that's what moves the needle on any problems that you may or may not have actually with your hormones.
Exactly.
So I do think that, you know, it's easy to place blame on things. And I think a lot of people are just chasing diagnoses because then they don't have to take that accountability. And it's hard. It really is.
Yeah, I have empathy for everybody because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not like an idiot or anything like that. It's just like, damn, it sucks.
It
Because we've all
does.
been there in one point or
I'm
another.
still there all the time. I'm like, oh, this thing is happening in my body. I'm like, yeah, I know exactly what that's from though. And that sucks that I like know it and I'm still perpetuating
hey,
it
look over here on the
sometimes.
right. You're like, not today.
Yeah.
I got things to do. I'll look at you tomorrow.
Right, exactly.
I think that's the hardest part for all three of us have good followings on social media platforms and people watch us talk about what we're really good at, but it doesn't mean that we're not human and we usually have more stressors, right?
Yeah.
'Cause we're stressed about actually talking to you about it.
Yeah.
And perceived perfectness, right? But I
Yes.
think it actually makes us more human when we're not perfect
Mm-hmm.
because we do have issues. I mean, and we're going to experience loss in some way. We're going to have cravings for cookies. Justin and I talk about this all the time. Like, what treat are we going to have? Because
Yeah.
we still have those type of cravings. It's not like we're eating clean 100% of the
No.
time. We want to have fun too.
Absolutely.
I had a Rancheritos burrito yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is, but I'm going to
Yeah.
go with it.
I have a very specific, or not, no, it wasn't Rancherito. It was one of those places, but it was on the way.
The
I was-
24/7 Mexican
my
places.
cortisol,
Yeah.
my cortisol
Okay.
was through the roof, 4
Yeah,
hours
yeah,
of sleep. And I was like, you need some cheese and meat in your life. You can handle a little gluten. Like, who cares? They make it with lard. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
So I pulled over. I felt so much better after that. But
Yeah.
but there's steps, right? Too.
Yes.
There's also, we talk about cookies, but I'm not going to Crave. She's probably not going to Crave.
No.
You're probably not going to Crave potentially.
Yeah.
So you try to create healthier options, but it's baby steps into that realm.
For
We
sure.
didn't just drop into it and like, I was like, dude, you don't think I don't want a 20-piece chicken nugget from some places
Yeah.
sometimes? They're delicious. It's not because it doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
I just don't
No.
like all the things it does.
It doesn't feel good.
Mm-mm.
And because there's a two-edged sword, we check all the other boxes. We're only doing that maybe 10% of the time. And it affects us so deeply when we do. And so we have to choose to do it the right way.
Speaking of percentages, because I usually talk like as people are like, well, when and how do I do like this? Like, do I and I tell people, try not to go cold turkey because
Yeah.
you are going to fail. Try to make it maybe 70-30 if you want to be
Yeah.
real strict,
Yeah.
but just eat one less.
Yeah.
So what are your opinion on that? Like the percentages and I'm going cold turkey doing 75 hard. No, our goal
Yeah,
is to
no.
do like 1 day hard and maybe 6 days softer, firm, medium firm instead of just because what happens?
Yeah.
People do 75
It's an
hard,
epic
they
fail.
talk about it and then
Yeah.
they fall off.
I recently talked to a client about this. She was like, I did 75 hard and I really think that hurt me mentally and emotionally. Like, I really think that was not a good idea for me. And I was like, yeah, I know. Let's give ourselves a little bit of grace. I talk to my clients, with percentages saying, let's focus on the first 10% and let's get you 10% better, right? 10% in whatever area that you have the capacity to start in. A lot of the times it's food because we can have a little bit more control over it, but sometimes it's not. So I do think that it's really important that we're chasing like those small increments because that's what builds and that's what teaches specifically women that they can do this, that they can be healthy, that they can overcome the problems with their hormones or, the stress of their kids and their jobs and all of those things. It really is that motivating factor of like, oh, yeah, maybe I don't have the same life as, this, health practitioner or me. Like, I don't have the same life as you and maybe I'm not going to train as hard as you do, but I can be as healthy as you
Yes.
in my own way.
And the chapters, we all have to start somewhere. And you can't look at somebody's book 3, chapter 18 and be like, I got that in a year.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even have this every year. I'm still in the shadow of myself sometimes. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Ugh, I wish I had the discipline I had 2 years ago. I'm sure we're all like that. Like,
We all
it's-
ride the wave.
yeah.
But with women, I think it's super important to not compare women. I mean, men have their own like testosterone driven competition,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, like the competition that's built
Yeah.
into them, all of
Yeah.
them. It is amazing to me. But women have it too in a different way. We compare ourselves to all other women. It's amazing how we're just like taught that, but not taught that, right? Like,
One thing the biggest thing I've ever seen with women's ego was when I had long hair, and then some of the women was like, "But it's not as long as my hair."
right?
Or so
like,
many ladies said that. And I was like,
so
I didn't.
wild.
or yours is healthier,
Yeah.
or mine is healthier,
Oh, yeah,
or like
My little
it is-
sister wanted to fight me when I pulled my hair down. She was like, son of a bitch, that your hair's so pretty. I fucking hate you. Like, I'm like, what? I'm sorry. I'll put it back up. Like,
And do you know why? Because you don't use all the crap that we do. We overwash our hair. We use all these other products in the bathroom that, I mean, what do they say? We use 50 to 100 products in one day. Women do.
Yeah.
As a standard.
Yeah, and then
you're
within
like,
those products, how many
There's-
ingredients?
there's
5 million
there's
bad
a
degrees.
real-
So we're
there's
gonna
a-
take count.
Oh,
There's
right.
a comedy reel that this girl did. I think I sent it to you. And she's like, oh, showering at my boyfriend or this guy's house or whatever. And then she's like, it just says, it's like a Dove 30 in 1. It's like,
30 in
it says like mouthwash and like all
Laundry
these things.
detergent.
And it's still full. It's like, it doesn't even, she was like, what is this?
Half a
yeah, it
squirt.
says mouthwash, window cleaner, like
Right.
shampoo. I'm like,
Well, it's crazy, right? Men don't even really wash their face.
Yeah.
Like if you watch most men, they don't wash their face. They do something different with their hair. All guys are different.
Yeah.
But like what we've done as a standard and what we were taught as girls is just insane.
It's insane.
And so the competition spurs from that. It's like, well, what products do you have? That's why the product industry for women is a gazillion, trillion, million, whatever dollars.
one
You're
of my
just like,
friends, she used to say, she's like, you know what I do? I go into their bathroom and see what kind of shampoo they have. Then I know what kind of guy they are.
then I know if we're a match. Do you
Yeah.
think like I do?
Yeah.
I kind of guilty of that too.
Like, I was like, that's a good one though. Cause you're like, she's like, this is Dove. Oh, we got just one. Just what does he have shampoo and conditioner? Do they have either one?
But Dove, I feel like a Dove guy, you can get to convert.
Yeah.
If you're like
he has
in-
no commitment to it.
Yeah, it's just cheap and available. That's what it is.
It's good enough, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's touted as like a beauty product, right?
Right.
It's a soft. Yeah, those are convertible guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
But
easy.
to your point on the products, I think that that's where we're seeing so many issues, like not to go into like the whole conspiracy, but it is kind of like a trickle down effect of like, okay, here's these beauty standards that we need to abide by. And then here's all these products to make that happen. Right. And then you're developing these problems because of a lot of these products and what we're doing to our bodies and to ourselves. So then it's like the medications, the healthcare system, and all of the kind of things that we need to do to support and like counteract. And I don't think, let's not like get flagged for talking about the healthcare industry, but
no, this will be okay. This will be okay. It's specific reels on social media. Don't worry about it. This will be okay.
Okay, good. But I think, there's like this whole conspiracy about how they're just like creating these problems and blah, blah, blah. But I genuinely think that there is interest in solving problems, right? But in those tools to solve problems, we have created more. And so, full circle back to the very first question we talked about. It's like these foundations that don't cost as much money, but they do cost like focus, commitment, accountability, consistency, which is really hard for people. And that's why I think it's really beneficial to kind of have people in your corner who are helping you like stay accountable, create that community, your family, like, that lifestyle is not going to just exist within you. It's going to exist within all the other people that you surround yourself with.
And you have to realize that as you increase, if you come from an unhealthy environment, like men and women, you have to realize that these standards, if your standards change, then you can get what I call fit shamed. And then people like project at you because they don't
Yeah.
understand who you are, what you're doing. You're not the same person. You can't evolve past the person I know. And that's hard. I can imagine that's really hard with women. Men are ridiculous, but they're, retarded Doberman pinchers or whatever. Like with women, they can be very diabolical and cynical. I've seen that with like the women groups, even if, like the little girls. I'm like, Jesus, y'all are savages
Because
sometimes.
women are hens.
Yeah.
We are meant to be in groupings. And if one person is doing something different or accelerating in a different way, it's not conducive to the group.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you need to be pecked out, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're out of the group.
Yeah.
But it's across the board. That's like it become an island with certain friend groups until you make new friends or have people that have commonalities or whatever you want to dig into, like vibrational frequencies or whatever you want to call that. It's hard. So like that's something to be prepared for too. You start making life changes to better yourself. Other people aren't doing that. Family and friends are going to kind of be a little weird sometimes. Not all the
That's
time.
okay.
Some people are very supportive,
Yeah.
but
It's like it's a shedding and a rebirth, and that
Mhm.
requires like finding new influences, people, friends, that kind of thing. I warn some of my clients, especially when we're making like nutrition changes. I think that's like a really difficult thing for a lot of people. And so I do talk to them. I'm like, this may make people uncomfortable. You might get comments. Your family might be like, well, why are you doing, well, what, like, and you are going to have to go through this like uncomfortable, like growing phase of like explaining that you're doing something different. This is the way you eat now, or this is the foods you have to avoid, or things like that.
Mhm.
But, the people that really care will secretly be taking notes.
Yep.
They'll be taking notes of like, oh, okay, like it's really interesting that they're doing this. They'll maybe question it. And so like, really respond to that curiosity if they do question of like, here's the things that I'm trying to do, because then it brings them in to your journey, which gives you more support.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
No, they don't hate you. You're just making them uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
This is-
the Jungian theories and stuff, right? The mirrors.
Yes, the mirrors come up, and that's part of the shedding that Rach was talking about. But yeah, I think everybody needs an accountability buddy,
Mhm.
right? Not just a coach, but someone to go down the journey with you. I
Yeah.
always encourage get your partner on board with you, or if
Mhm.
you have older children, do it with them.
Mhm.
Because I get lots of people bringing me their kids or their spouse, like, my spouse needs to do this. And absolutely, like
Yeah.
I do testing that shows parasites and fungus and bacteria.
Mhm.
Well, those are all things that you share with a partner or
Yeah.
anyone in your house, right? And so if I'm treating you for this, you definitely make sure that everybody else in the house gets some sort of treatment for this. So we need to
Mhm.
change a universal plan on food.
Yeah.
And if we're doing any sort of cleansing, everyone's on board with a version of it.
Mhm.
What do you ladies think about GLP-1s? Now that we're all,
All right.
ready to go.
Yeah. I'll let you start with this. I have thoughts.
Okay, here we go. GLP-1s are really hard for me. I don't love what we've seen happen in the general public with GLP-1s specifically. I think it was misused, misgiven,
Mhm.
and the warnings were not expressed. And we had a lot of fallout, fallback, whatever you want to say. I saw a lot of it happen before I even knew how substantial it was on the market. I had people coming into me, asking for help. That's what they come
Yeah.
for. And I'm saying, okay, what have you been on? What are your supplements? What are your medications? Blah, blah, blah. And I've been on a GLP-1, and I'm like, tell me more, because at this point I didn't even know what was really happening. So tell me your side of the story. And then another one and another one and another one. And unfortunately, I don't know your experience, Rach, but hear all the bad because they're coming to me because it didn't work or it
Right.
severely damaged them.
Right.
And I think there are a place for peptides in general, but the early days were hard.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I saw paralyzed intestinal tracts, like
Yeah.
all of it. You're not breaking down, you're not
Yep.
digesting, absorbing.
Oh, you're
and-
breaking things down.
Oh,
just
yeah,
not
yeah,
your
yeah.
food.
We're breaking down muscle, but not
Yeah.
food. Imagine how that works in
Yeah,
the body.
crazy. Your body becomes the food
Yeah.
source.
Right. And then, there's so many more things that come from that.
Yeah.
And the sunken faces and the extra skin that I was seeing. And then the fact that if you go off of it, now what happens?
Yeah.
You're three times
that's
more
my
likely
biggest
to gain it
concern.
back.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they were gaining back more weight than they had originally. And so for the past couple years have been interesting in practice.
Yeah.
Right? Just watching it. Now, what has come from that, and in the industry, what's exploded and more peptides and getting into, GLP-3s, I think was someone going, okay,
Mhm.
trial. The first trial was not so great.
Right.
But we still see a ton of people using the GLP-1s and like, I will never go off of this. This is what saved me. I'm like, because you still want to overeat, eat bad things, not go to sleep, drink unlimited amounts of caffeine and sugar. Yeah, I mean, you're on a track to end your life pretty fast anyway, so why
Right.
not? Go.
Yeah.
You're going to be skinny though. That's
Yeah. Yeah.
the coffin will weigh less.
Right.
I mean, that's my take.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think there's a time and a place, right? I think that goes like with most things where I think there's definitely a set of population that can and have really benefited. But yeah, super misused.
Well, and the
And
dosage too.
dosage.
They were
Yeah.
just if you anything in moderation can
Yeah.
be helpful, but yeah, seeing some of those dosages and understanding it, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
They give
To
you
be fair, that's how doctors have been trained.
For sure. For sure.
And so they have this rep come in and say, "Oh my gosh, this is the new drug of the century," right? Which is not a drug, but is, right? We're still in that gray area. And this is a way to help people. And originally it was released for what? Diabetics.
Diabetics. Yeah.
And so, yes, do we feel bad for these people? Yes. Are there other ways to treat them? Yes. We're
Yes.
just not talking about it. In
Yeah.
the Western medicine world, they were told it's this, give this dosage,
Right.
it's a miracle,
Right.
right? And we've seen that across the board with lots of
Yeah.
different drugs. And so I don't really want to blame the doctors outright. It's definitely the distributor, but yeah, not good.
Yeah. And I just think as with most things, there's just a lack of education around like
Yes.
what they do and what they're doing in the body and like any potential side effects and things like that. Just like, again, coming from someone who really takes a gut focus on a lot of things, like I have major concerns.
Yes.
Because we are starting to understand a lot of the ties between like gut bacteria and like autoimmune conditions. And I just think that it's going to be accelerated due to a lot of the gut issues that are stemming from GLP-1 usage. And, you know, I think I'm also very, very concerned about like metabolic issues. And so I work with like a wide range of ages of women. So like some people, you know, late 20s, 30s, all the way into like mid 50s, sometimes 60s. And so what I really am seeing like the patterns a lot of the times is, you know, the older generations of women, you know, who have been dieting and essentially like under eating, which is one of the things that GLP-1s is like perpetuating. So it's just kind of like a different diet, right? So like the older generation, they did the actual diets, right? Like they were under eating, they were eating like all the low calorie foods, low fat foods, all the things, right? And they totally screwed up their metabolism, right? And so their body is like almost unwilling to really burn at a normal and natural rate of eating. And so weight loss becomes extremely difficult, right? And so I do fear that like, you know, if we're kind of entering this like GLP-1 journey, like 20s, 30s, even 40s, that then, yeah, it's going to come and have the exact same effect that we like, can we not learn from our mothers? Like really, that's truly what it comes down to is like, let's learn from like what they were doing to their bodies and what they're struggling with their health now so that we don't have to repeat the same thing. And I think it's like, so there's so many like parallels there. And what I tell people is, yeah, it's like GLP-1s is just kind of like the new diet trend, just like, you know, Atkins or Weight Watchers or whatever it is. And there's serious ramifications and you might not see it immediately, but they are there. And I do just kind of worry about like what happens when people do try to come off. Because at that point, yeah, lower metabolism and a lot of like gut issues that you kind of have to work hard to correct.
You do.
And a lot of those peptides in general, like, and I support peptides. Like I work with a peptide company, but it's I do BPC and TB500, and that's just because I'm ridiculous and I work out too much for being 37.
Yeah.
But I would say like 18-year-olds ask me about it, and I'm like, you don't need it. You're
Yeah.
18. Like,
Or
don't
you
mess with your
shouldn't need it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're
Like-
asking me about it,
And we go back
what
to
kind of pain is going on in your body right now?
Well, it's the trimming up to put on more muscle and to recover faster. I'm like, well, let's address your eating habits first. How's your sleep? We go back to foundation. So that's something I see across the board too. And it's I wouldn't say it's a last resort. It can be used as a tool, but it should never, like these things should never be crutches. I don't know about GLP-1s. I don't I could see some people that are 600-700 big people and they can't even walk. Like
Yeah.
maybe, but even then, same thing. It's like a last
Still, the
resort.
dose
Yeah,
matters.
tiny.
And how often.
Like we said, we could have empathy for people having to start somewhere, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the whole idea of it being, it's just ridiculous. So we could talk about this a little bit more if we'd like
Mm-hmm.
to. But another question I was thinking of is, what do you think are some of the big factors for postpartum depression?
Oh.
You know, it's funny.
You're like, oh, the chair spins around. You're like, oh.
You know, it's funny. I literally yesterday was reading a study because I was like, I don't know. I look into random things all the time based on client conversations. And I was looking into like birth control and the effects on the gut because like I know there's like established links and things like that. And then I found like a review that mentioned a couple studies on the noticeable difference of the gut microbiome postpartum. And I think that is very directly tied to the experience of postpartum anxiety and depression because we already have established that link elsewhere. And so when we see a shift in the gut microbiome, we see that like communication change with the brain and therefore like neurotransmitters. And so it's quite interesting. And I think that like if we do take a little bit more of a gut like focused approach to like helping women in postpartum, like it could be really effective. I mean, there's so much to be studied in this area though. So it's still very like uncertain. What are some of your thoughts?
1,000% agree. I'm going to add to it. Just like anything else, this isn't like, oh, this just happened. It's not
Absolutely.
because I had a baby, so postpartum follows.
Yeah.
I've had 3 babies. I know exactly what that feels like. If your body is deficient in actual pregnancy, it will become more deficient post-pregnancy. We know that if you don't give the gut everything that it needs, if it's not getting the balanced nutrition that it needs, your gut is in a dysbiosis. And again, what happens in the gut happens in the brain. What happens in the brain, especially if you're a brand new mother, there's so much anxiety. You are not getting any sleep. Maybe this is your first time being a mom and there's anxiety that follows with that. Maybe you're trying to keep 2 or 3 other people alive at the same time you have this infant that needs you every second of every day. There's a lot of stress that comes with that moment. And it's not, lots of people want to say that postpartum is like, oh, it's at the 6-week mark. I'm like, are you crazy? Have you ever been pregnant? I see a lot of men say this and I'm like, you don't even have a clue of what you're talking about. Postpartum is as long as you don't have nutrients in your body.
Yeah, seriously.
It's not like you get it and it goes away. And how many women don't have the education, don't have anyone to rely on, don't have a mother that went through this because their mom was pregnant in the 70s when everything was fine, right? And they go to the doctor and the doctor goes, oh, you need an antidepressant.
Oh,
good. Yeah.
Instantly.
How about an SSRI while I'm nursing a baby, giving all of my nutrition to that human? Right? Like, this is a combination that's going to work.
And I see this with like thyroid issues too. A lot of thyroid issues develop later in life, a lot of the time due to pregnancies.
Yes.
It's kind of something that they are now diagnosing later in life because it's now like within those or out of range. And like, that's like the thing, like, you know, you said it's like, okay, your body's like skating by pre-pregnancy. It can handle a lot. It manages a lot of inflammation, toxins, you know, underfueling, overfueling, all those things. It's wonderful. But then you take this incredibly stressful event, tanks your body during pregnancy and postpartum. And then you only maybe get up a little bit because all of those issues that you had previously, your body can't now like recover and heal from that because it's also trying to recover from this like major stressful physical event.
Plus, can we mention that being pregnant and nursing is an actual immune suppressant? This is a foreign object, baby, fetus, whatever, but it's inside of our body. It's parasitic to us. it's amazing that our body can do this, but it's taking from us. We are
Yeah.
feeding it. And so the fact that we are able to even function during this time is amazing. But those of us who haven't been able to function, we have to go back to the drawing board, so to speak, in those basics. What are you not getting? But there's a dysbiosis that comes in the immune suppression.
Yeah.
So we have to be getting nutrients in the right form for us. That's an always thing, but
Yeah.
especially during this period
100%.
because how we get those nutrients is how that baby grows and develops, and that's built into the genetic code at that point. I'm proof positive of that. Like my mom didn't have enough D3 because she was depressed and laying in bed. So now I don't have enough D3. Awesome. I get to deal with that for the rest of my life. You know, like how do we change it and do the epigenetic code differently for the next generation?
Yeah. And I think it's like people kind of take pregnancy so lightly sometimes. You know, it's kind of like
Because a
this is-
15-year-old can get pregnant, right?
right. And like even those who are like, you know, planning to have a child and things like this, it's like your body is about to go through something so crazy. And yes, there's like these wild societal standards that you're supposed to just be able to function and be completely normal up until the day you give birth, basically. But it's kind of like so ridiculous that we expect any of that because it's like like you said, it's essentially a parasite that is like sucking the life out of you for a time. And it's so important that like we actually use tools and kind of understand how to support your body through that period, because otherwise, that's what makes that like so low for a lot of women.
Yeah, I like visuals. So I tell women who are trying to get pregnant or are pregnant that come to see me, go watch the Twilight series and see what happens to Bella during pregnancy. And that at the deepest level is what's happening,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
It's not that drastic. You don't see it like that, but that's what's happening inside of our body. So be prepared.
Yeah.
And we're not. We get pregnant so young. We don't know what's going on. I also did that. I had zero clue what was happening. And my first baby actually led me down the path of being a practitioner. So, you know, that was my learning curve. But if you don't learn from that and then have multiple babies, that's why women are falling apart by the time we're 40. And then we're called crazy and we have midlife crisis and we want a divorce and we want to buy the sports car.
Right.
Well, I want to be a man. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's why we are so deficient. And when our estrogen plummets, that's the next subject, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
We out to kill somebody. There you go.
100%.
So in a lot of women nowadays, on top of hormones, how important do you think it is to balance out your cortisol levels? We got all these ladies watching murder mysteries and drinking too much caffeine first thing in the morning, wondering why they have anxiety.
Too late.
Eating too late.
Yes.
I mean, I think I appreciate the way you asked that question because it's interesting because like cortisol is not necessarily the problem here.
It's like saying
really
gluten
not.
is bad, right?
Right.
We're back to what is the actual issue.
What is the actual issue?
Yeah.
Like it's your entire nervous system.
Yeah, it's because people are like, my cortisol's high.
Yeah.
like,
Again,
just-
you don't
it's a
even know what
reference.
cortisol is.
Yeah.
Right. It's that diagnosis of like, oh, this is the problem.
Yeah, these are
No, the
rage bait
problem is
questions
the
for y'all.
things that are okay. Yeah, it's
They're
working.
very specific. Yeah,
It's
that's why I did
working.
it.
No, but I mean, cortisol definitely is part of the equation here, and we're just spiking our cortisol so much, so often through a lot of different things. It's not just the caffeine. It's the stress, right? And it's the dysregulated sleep and all of these components.
Overstimulation on blue light and social media. And
100%. I think, overstimulation is like a big part of it. You know, our brains have not caught up to the world that we live in. And it honestly, like, we need to recreate our environment as much as possible to adhere to what our brain and our body can understand.
Yeah.
What are your
No, I totally agree. I think breaking it down to understand why is cortisol spiking? Is it we got an insulin spike, so cortisol's coming in to balance out because of our food? Or like you said, like what stress are we doing? Are we watching something crazy late at night? There are some crazy shows on TV. And I think TV period with the blue light, with just staying up late because
Anything
most people do it
stimulating.
later.
Even like for me, I have to watch out about going to breath work or anything else in the evenings because I will be up.
Yeah.
I'm easily stimulated when it comes to that. Like,
Overstimulation,
and then what
right, in
happens?
any
You
way.
like you're in an environment, maybe you didn't get the conversations you wanted. So the next thing you know, you're reaching out to social media or something like that. There's like the mental, emotional as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, I think you, again, need to take inventory and understand what's actually happening. And is it diet related? Because diet is completely separate from all the other stressors because of the digestive system.
Mm-hmm.
It just affects the gut differently. They're all affecting the gut, but differently because of the digestive part of it.
Speaking of elevated cortisol levels, what is your opinion for cold plunging for women?
Oh, Rachel, I want to hear
Ooh.
your opinion.
Opinion in terms of like, is it good? Is it bad? Like,
I just mean in general, like you could say from a personal perspective and what you think is applicable for
mm-hmm.
XYZ.
I think it depends on the person.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And the temperature. Well,
Oh yeah, temperature,
there's
duration.
more studies that
Yeah, there's
says
so
like
many. It's
55
nuanced,
degrees
right?
is okay. If women can
Right.
do like 60 or 58, that's fine. It's like
Yeah.
when they try to stay in there for 10 minutes at 38 when I don't know, I don't feel good.
I mean, as with any
Yeah.
question you're ever going to ask me, I'm like, there's so much nuance
Mhm.
here, especially for women. I think depends on the person. Like if you are utilizing it as kind of a source of recovery, especially for like athletes and people who are really active, great tool. Super great tool.
Mhm.
It definitely does not need to be like overutilized. I think that's where like, well, one, our like body can adapt to it. So you may not get like as much benefit if you're doing it really consistently.
Mhm.
And then also like if you're in a really like stressful phase of life and you're spiking your cortisol, your body's on kind of like high alert, or like physically, biologically, you're dealing with a lot of stressors. Probably not a great idea to add like fuel to the fire there. I think a lot of people with like chronic conditions and like unmanaged health conditions, it's probably not going to be the best tool. It's not going to be the best choice. So that's kind of my take. And then there's like the whole conversation with like, cycle syncing, like when you should do it in your cycle and there's actually probably no real actual data on this yet. And who knows if there ever will be. But generally speaking, I think we need to kind of lean into like what's happening naturally in our body. On your period, you don't need extra stress. Your body's going through it.
Or lack of sleep too.
Lack of
Like people are
sleep.
like, what do you think about cold plunges? It's like how much sleep you get. I was like,
Yeah.
don't do it on the days you get 4 hours. It's
But if you
counterproductive.
are like really like you're in it, you're feeling good, like it's a great like recovery tool and kind of something to help with like mental toughness too. That's actually why I started cold plunging originally, was like I have a really low pain tolerance and I feel like I'm just not mentally strong. And I was like, let's try this.
And then you have body
definitely
awareness
helps.
too. So like the days that you shouldn't push it too hard. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, you get to the gym, you get going or wherever it is, you
Yeah.
get to the cold plunge and you're like, you could feel it out or go in for 10 seconds or put your face in it. You could,
Yeah.
there's different variations of it.
Yeah, 20 seconds in a cold shower. That's
Yeah.
great.
Those for some reason that's so much harder.
So
than me.
much harder. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. I don't do that. I do
can
not do
crack
that.
ice in the mountains, but
Me
if I
too.
have control of the dial, I can't do it. I
Same.
don't know. I'm like, like cold showers, unless it's like hot out, then I can.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I could. Yeah, I crack the snow and ice in the mountains. I'll go sit in there for a minute. But when it comes to the shower, I make excuses to turn that dial.
Oh yeah, me too.
I'm like,
I don't do it. I won't do it.
yeah, it's like
Well, okay, I'm opposite from you two. I
Okay.
would rather be in the shower. I think the biggest problem is things happen in society and we grab hold to them and they're the new cool thing and everyone's going to do it. And you haven't evaluated, is this good for me? Again, we're just going along with the crowd. Everyone else is doing it. And if you haven't assessed if I'm too stressed to do this, I see a lot of overweight people doing it because they've heard, oh, it's good to burn brown fat.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, it is good for that.
Yeah.
But also the best way to burn brown fat is to go heat, cold, right? And so
Yeah.
doing the rounds, not too much. It's all about not going extreme. Too much of anything is bad. And that's where I think most things need to be left, not just
Yeah.
cold plunging.
I always tell people, be careful when you start identifying with it. You're like, I'm a cold plunger. you know, like that's what I do. And it's
Yeah.
like,
Until
well,
2 years
but-
from now, and there's
yeah.
another cool
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, you want to stay away from it for that purpose because people are going to move on from you,
Yeah.
honestly. If
Yeah,
you're
but you're
too
using
deep
that
in
as a
it.
tool to make you a more dynamic individual.
Yeah.
You're probably not doing it 24/7 all day. You're probably not trying to max out 10 minutes or
Yeah.
something every time.
And then I know it feels just a little tidbit. I know it feels super great to do that after like a crazy workout or something. Don't do it after strength training. Do it after cardio.
Yeah.
Do it after your runs.
Or before.
Or before.
yeah.
Or before. But after strength training, there is like some data, like not super great for muscle
No,
growth.
nope.
Actually, heat
tidbit.
would be.
Oh,
So you have to know again and be educated. If you go to heat, you're going to recover faster.
But if
So-
you're hydrated originally, don't be passing
Exactly.
out in the damn
And you don't
hot
want to go
tubs and saunas.
extreme heat,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
how long do you stay in the heat? How high do you turn it? And is your nervous system ready for any of this?
Right. Start with 5 minutes, then work up to 10. Some of these places, even the public ones, are like 185, 200 degrees sometimes, and it's like gotta be careful.
Well, same with cold plunge. They're going
Yep.
way too cold and
Yep.
they're not even considering, is this a male or a female? And the reason why we're talking about male versus female is we are biologically built different.
So different.
We need different things. Even our workouts should be different. And there's so many women out there, unfortunately, that are starting to look like men. Love you all, but we are not supposed to do that. That screws up hormones.
You reminded me of another question. I wanted
Okay.
while we were talking about postpartum, and then hopefully I can circle back around to the next one. Why is it so important to do strength training and certain things after pregnancy? Because a lot of women don't know that your body opens up and stretches out. So there's specifics you can do to pull your everything back in technically.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. If
So-
you've never been pregnant, the entire process of pregnancy is an opening. That's right. You have to show the flower, so to speak. I love the visual of this because you've had a seed planted literally and then the flower comes out, but it's the process of the flower opening and giving birth to that. And so you can feel it when you've never been pregnant,
No,
right,
you're
Rach?
not.
You can feel it. You start to separate, and it kind of feels like, remember when we were teenagers and growing and you're like, that's awkward or
Yeah.
that's painful. You kind of have some of that. And again, if you don't have the right nutrients in your body, you're going to feel it worse. But I was a gymnast in my younger years, and while I was pregnant, oh man, I had perfect splits. I could, move my arms the right way not because I was stretching, because everything starts to almost disconnect in that way. And so you're completely right. How many women end up with the diastasis, not being able to bring that girdle back together in that midsection because they don't understand. One of the things that was really popular when I had my oldest child, who's 20, so 20 years ago, was, just get like a compression garment. You need to wear almost like a Spanx home from the hospital and wear it until you're skinny again. And you're like, of course I gave into it, right? Like
Right,
you're
right,
like,
right.
okay, that makes sense. And then you educate yourself and you realize, that's like wearing a weight belt at the gym. That's not functional.
no, you're and then you lose transverse
And you have
abdominis
zero.
function.
Yeah.
QL.
Your entire girdle system, your midsection is blown to smithereens because you're not actually using it. It's being held together and your body's like, cool, something else is going to hold us together and we don't have to
Right.
do it.
Yeah.
And so then what comes from that, right? Like it is downstream not good because what were we talking about the other day? Justin and I talk about body parts a lot, like, oh no, the way that looks. And
Pelvic floor issues.
exactly,
Because if you have a
pelvic floor
taper
issues.
from glutes and they're thick on top, or we'll just say thick for the benefit.
Apple bottom.
No, not even that, because it tapers in like this, like a V.
Yeah,
So
and-
if it tapers in,
Yeah, but that's more of
yeah,
an apple.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
An apple is heavy on the top.
you
So yeah, it's you see this in a lot of older women, right, who have gained weight and then they have no like abdominal structure. But what we don't realize is the pelvic floor is part of that abdominal structure. And once you have a baby, you realize, holy cow, yeah, that's part of it. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
I can't lift, I can't pull, I can't push, I can't. And how am I going to pull that back together? And I think we've missed the boat in helping women I think you should go home with a pelvic floor specialist.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
this is how you function. But we don't do that.
Yeah.
We
Because the moment that you give birth is when healing starts.
Yeah.
Right. And your body is trying its best to kind of get everything back together as best as it can.
Yeah.
And a lot of incorrect healing happens.
Incorrect healing. You're not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And nursing is both good and bad, right? I would never tell a woman not to nurse, but a lot of people don't realize you're releasing oxytocin every single time that happy, right? And it's like, I mean, for everyone who's not had a baby, you don't feel an orgasm, but your body says, oh, we had an orgasm. That's how happy we are. And so there's a lot of feel good dopamine search there, right? Like this is, and it's bonding to the baby, but then you're so happy that you're less motivated to do other things.
Yep.
So it becomes more of like a couch potato situation. Not a lot of moms are doing that, but you don't think about yourself in that time. You're thinking about how to keep other humans alive. And so now we're back to, we need the hen house.
Yeah.
And we also don't do that because we're too busy comparing and contrasting how that other woman is different. Even if we don't say it out loud, we say it to ourselves, and we all know that we're the hardest on ourselves, and we put ourselves down for not being able to get skinny after pregnancy or whatever. I have a lot of women that say that to me, and I'm like, girl, you were just fine. This is what your body was built to do.
Yeah.
And her hair is growing and mine isn't, or whatever. It's a lot of negative that's then fed into the body, and those cells are listening. Again, we're not going to be strong inside if we're being negative with our words and our thoughts. So
It just adds to the stress.
it does. Yeah.
In so many ways.
And this is what I say, that'll lead into stress is stress. Yes, we can define it, but our body doesn't know the difference between, having a baby or being stressed at work, or my boyfriend broke up with me, or whatever it might be, and running away from a tiger.
Yep.
And so back to our original point about the gut biome, what is your body doing when you're running away from a tiger? You're not
digesting. That is not the priority.
Not the priority.
You're firing all your muscles, everything else.
Fight or flight, literally.
Exactly. Like when you're living in that, we are not digesting. And that is part of the problem that I see with a lot of women who deal with a lot of it's so nuanced, but a lot of constipation.
Yes. Yes.
Specifically, it's like, well, you're living in fight or flight. Your body's not trying to prioritize that. And it makes sense.
Yes.
You are not defective. It makes sense. Your body is doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Literally,
now you need to give it different
go.
instructions.
You gotta let shit go.
Yeah.
No, literally go in the bathroom, and until you go, and I tell people, women specifically,
You
right?
have to tell her about that chair if she did go to be healthy. Not right. We don't have to talk about it now, but we can talk about it.
Yeah,
after.
we need a chair discussion.
chair?
But yeah, that's a whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But for this topic,
Yeah, that one might be.
Elsa, I am such a visual person. I'm like, you go in that bathroom and you're potty training yourself and you're singing Let It Go until this actually happens. And you're doing it every time you eat, right? Like 30 minutes after you eat, just you're sitting there. Because you are training yourself again. This is what we do. We're
And get a squatty potty. You got to elevate your feet.
Yes,
we got
you
weird
do.
toilets here in America.
Women are, right? You're
Yep.
shorter than I am, so
Yep.
you know this a little bit more.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you have to have your knees over your hips.
Yes.
Yeah, none of this where your feet are dangling.
Yeah, I have
It
so
happens. There's
many
some tall
shorter
toilets
than me
now,
friends,
too.
and I'm not even a tall person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
And-
gosh. I go places sometimes. Yeah. Feet are like, what am
I
I
was
supposed to
gonna-
do with this?
Yeah.
I'm running.
You're like, why am I on top of the toilet?
Right.
Because I've been on one where
pretty
my
high
feet
up
were
here.
barely touching, and I was like, is there like somewhere where people have to is there a rope swing to get on this one for ladies?
Or
There's, like, a
where
lifted-
are the people that
Yeah, I'm
use
like,
these? These are
Does
giants.
this come with toe
Yeah.
mirrors? It's like a lifted truck.
Manufacturers or whoever does this, get better. Do better.
Yes,
Plumbers, do better.
Do better. Yeah. Lower set toilets.
Yeah.
We
That would require people being able to squat.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And
They just want to fall
Functional
back.
movement is
Yeah.
important.
again,
Yeah.
we're talking about the girdle.
Yeah.
The holistic.
Yeah.
So, and one more that I was thinking of is What do you think about fasting for women? I know
Mm.
it can work sometimes, but there are a lot of issues that can happen with fasting protocols or being too deep in like a ketogenic diet or a carnivore diet,
Hmm.
something like that.
Hmm.
So, what are your thoughts on that, ladies?
I'm a little biased because personally, I just don't like fasting. I just like don't think it's necessary. So, my question, anytime anybody asks me this, is like, what is your intention with it? Why are you asking me this question? What do you want to do and what do you want to achieve? And I think those answers then better guide the like information that I could give someone of like why it may or may not be a good idea and how to do it.
Hmm.
Like, are we talking like intermittent fasting? Are we talking about like a 24-hour fast? Are we talking about a 3-day water fast? Like, there's so many different protocols. Can it be helpful in certain situations? Absolutely. Do I want to do it? No,
No.
no, I don't. I hope I never get to the point where my health requires fasting.
Yeah, you're like, I'll just handle my free
I just
radical
like,
damage one day at a time
yeah,
with food.
it's fine.
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
Yeah, these blueberries are getting me to where I need to go.
What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I have a little bit different take, but for a lot of my life, I felt exactly the same. Like, I
Mhm.
don't want to do that. I would never ask anyone else to do it. And I don't oppose anything that you
Mhm.
said. But I grew up religious, and in that specific religion, we fasted once a month.
Mhm.
And I never understood it because I didn't educate myself. And I felt like I was in a cult and this was dumb. And no matter
Yeah.
what they said, I'm not going to do it. Right. And so as I got older and started becoming who I am professionally, I started researching and understanding wow, most of the world is in a fasted state a lot
Mhm.
of the time. And then when you look at Americans, we're just, even if you eat 3 meals a day, you're overeating in my mind. And so we have this weird scale of how many calories we need, and we need to count macros, and
Mhm.
it has to be this. And actually, in the body, because I've tested it, I'm not a proponent of big fast, so don't
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah.
think I'm going that direction. But
It's been
No,
48
that could
days
still be a
since
great
she's had a
tool.
meal.
Don't get me
yeah,
wrong.
and I agree, it is a great tool. And but you can see where the body actually starts to metabolize things that it's been holding on to,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
we know that with inflammation, when you get into that ketosis or getting into that autophagy, you can utilize what the body's been waiting to utilize,
Mhm.
kind of feel. Now, with women, men are meant to go on hunts and they're fasting for days until they find their meat and they bring it back to the cave, right? And they're built differently because their hormones will function differently.
Yeah.
Women, we have to be specific. And I'm very much like the other Rachel. I am curious. So, just a little plug for any practitioner
Mhm.
or physician that you work with. If they are not asking you a ton of questions, you are in the wrong room.
Hmm.
Mhm.
No
You
cookie
have
cutter
to,
bullshit.
yes, they have to be asking questions. So you want someone that's curious about your entire life because
Mhm.
that's how we literally treat you holistically with
Yep.
the
Because you're a
W.
fingerprint, right? You
Yes,
they have to have people that know their stuff that can create a
Mhm.
blueprint for you,
Mhm.
exactly.
not give you a program that they've already created.
Yes,
Yep.
like, oh, well, here's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't work. And so I'm just like Rachel, I ask a lot of questions. And the main question for fasting is what is the purpose of this?
Mhm.
Are you looking to lose weight? Do you feel like you have too much inflammation?
Mhm.
Is it trendy and you want to
Yeah.
try it? Have you done any research? Where are we going with this? And again, I go back to women should never do anything extreme because we are
Mhm.
put into fight or flight so much faster than men are.
Mhm.
They're just built for it for
Yeah.
some reason.
And y'all are literally in fight or flight a lot of the time. You're ladies, a lot of them aren't very big. Like you guys have a different outlook on life, I
Yeah,
feel like
and
too.
we're built to be scared of the world. We're
Yeah.
smaller. We are psychologically trained to rely on men to protect us. There's so many things that go into it. Plus, our minds are able to think in 15 different directions at one time when most
Mhm.
men aren't able to do that.
Mhm.
And so imagine how many scarcity type things would come up at
Right.
15. Phew, 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 phew. Yeah. So fasting, I encourage women to try assisted fasting. There is very rarely a time I say, you know what, you should go with nothing,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
hydrated fast. I say, let's assist and give you nutrients, not calories.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the direction I've gone. And I've
I
been
love
able to help people get super fast results.
Mm-hmm.
If you're giving them the right nutrients, whether it be like whole food nutrition in a certain amount and certain time of day and,
Mm-hmm.
how you dose it out, or you're doing it in supplement form, I think you can get really good results because the body doesn't have a calorie system actually, right? Like
Mhm.
And they don't
that's
reset every
man.
day too. They don't reset every day. You
No.
don't just wake
Right.
up with new calories.
No.
Like
Yeah.
people
No,
don't realize
that's
that. I'm like, hey.
Yeah.
That's not how that works.
That's
You're
not
in
how
a
it works.
5,000 calorie deficit for this week. You're dying.
Yeah.
Like not physically dying,
Right,
but you're
right.
like,
Right.
no, that's not how that works.
Yeah. And it all comes down to nutrients. So if you were getting the right nutrients for your body, there's not a right amount across the board, you're going to be okay.
Mhm.
You don't need specific calories. I literally had someone in my office yesterday and I said we were going to go down this route because her fight or flight was so high
Mhm.
that we're going to do a fast, but in an assisted way. And I told her, okay, you're going to get I promise we're not going to hold back from nutrients. But I told her she wasn't going to do 150 grams of protein. And she was just like,
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this isn't meant to put you into fight or flight.
Like, so sorry, we got to reprogram you a little bit.
Yes. And that's what it is. So
Yeah.
we really need to be educated. And women, if you are being educated by a man, not to say that man is bad. I love men, but they just don't know or understand what it's like to be inside of our bodies.
I think like, kind of what you're trying to say is like, just because your boyfriend, your husband or whatever is doing something like doesn't mean you need to be doing it too.
No.
I see that a lot. They're like, well, like my husband is trying this or doing this fast or doing this like diet or training this way or whatever. And I'm
It's
like,
too harsh.
and he is probably very good intentioned of like, oh, do this with me. Like, let's do it together. Like, great intentions.
Yes.
But he does not realize the like huge differences and how her experience is going to be so unlike his.
Yes.
Yeah.
Case in point, my genetic code is carnivore.
Mhm.
I should have a diet that's more ketogenic, so to speak. And I'm a woman.
Mhm.
And so what? What do we need? Carbs during certain parts of our cycle.
Mhm.
There are certain parts of our cycle where we can just eat meat and just be fine if
Yeah.
that's our genetic code.
Yep.
But during certain other parts of our cycle, we definitely need carbs to get us through that point.
Yeah.
And so to exactly what you were saying, they can follow that man into oblivion for a minute.
Yeah.
And then they're going to start feeling the effects. And what do you hear all the time from women? Well, I did this thing with my boyfriend or my husband, my partner, and he lost like
Yeah.
25 pounds and I lost 2.
Yeah. He lost weight and I didn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're just like, because it's not for you,
yeah.
babe.
Where'd that protocol come from?
Off chat or online
Right.
and someone who doesn't
His
even know what they're
friend,
talking
personal trainer.
about. You're like,
Our
"Aw."
CrossFit coach.
Right.
Yes. No extremes, ladies. No extremes.
And I feel like there's ways you could still support each other and then just find your own version of
Yes.
it. Like if you're going to
Yes.
fast, do it for like 9 hours, ladies.
Absolutely.
Like something like that. There's still
Absolutely.
a fasting window. It just,
Oh, look at Justin being a Mormon over there.
how's that being a Mormon?
That's what they do. You fast for 2 meals.
Oh,
It's not a 24-hour fast
Don't
or
ever do-
3
I'm just
meals.
kidding. Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. You're like
Yeah.
exactly the
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, well, I'm just saying there are options because that's the optimal window, right?
Yes.
It's like that maybe max is like 12 hours for women.
right.
But
And
you get the same benefits as a man doing it for 16 to 18 hours.
right. But as women, I would tell you never to fast over breakfast. If you're going to implement a fast, like a 9-hour, stop eating at 3 or 4
Yes,
p.m.
exactly.
That's my
and fast
least
overnight.
favorite trend, that the intermittent fasting thing where it's just skipping breakfast. Like that's all it is.
Well, and there's no breaking
and I'm like, that's
breakfast
not,
is just
you're doing it wrong.
but breaking your fast is that is breakfast.
Yeah.
That's how it's whenever breakfast is. But I get it. For me, but I'm also a man. Most days. And I don't like eating in the morning
Mhm.
if I'm working out. It just doesn't
But you're a man.
yeah, but I'm a
Right.
man. So
Yeah.
Kinda
For
different.
women, it almost spikes our cortisol because it's a stressor to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that is science-based, so you can look that up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think just in general, but also feel your body, because there could be a couple women out there that do. I know a couple women
It's
that
true.
like doing like, but also
Well,
there's
just
genetics.
because you
There's
like it
different
doesn't
regions
mean
in
it
the
works.
world.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
Or
there's
long
different
term.
there's different regions
Thank
in the
you.
world. Like, who are the studies done on? There's a lot there. But
Yes,
Yeah.
and nothing long term. If you can't sustain it your entire life, this is not a long term thing.
no,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't think fasting's supposed to be, even with men, isn't supposed to be all the time.
No.
Like, it's not. You should go through phases and cycles just like
Mhm.
anything else. Like,
Not
there's
not
different.
extreme, yeah.
No, there's different. That's why I always say, I was like we luckily we have seasons here, so
Unless
eat
you have
seasonally
Seasonally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and get all the color spectrums.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I tell people all the time. Like, we need to live seasonally.
Mhm.
Like, even if we're not connecting it directly to the actual season, let yourself be seasonal. It's the ebbs and the flows. Specifically, I talked to a lot of women about this with exercise. Like, do something for a while. It feels good. You like it. It's working, whatever. And then eventually you're going to get bored, or something's going to happen or whatever. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Change it. Do something
Yeah,
different.
there's plenty of fire hydrants to pee on, is the
Yep.
way I describe it. Like, we all need it. Like, switching
Yeah.
a gym or something, then
Yeah.
it clicks
Change it
something
up.
new in your brain, and like you're like, oh yeah, I forgot I need to start doing this again or
Yep.
whatever. I love that. Like, we're all supposed to be hunter gatherers in some aspect, like whether it's gathering berries or hunting or whatever. So you need that stimulus, because we're
Mhm.
not meant for glass or boxes all the time. And
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, find things that make you happy,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and don't turn everything into work either. But
No.
no,
Could
it's
never do
hard.
that.
Right, never.
Never.
But in closing, so we're gonna do the 3 questions. Just these could be tips or tricks, or just things you think the audience should know. 3 each, and then feel free to look into the camera and talk to the guests.
I can go first.
Yeah, I gotta think.
Especially as women, so I'll speak to just women. Focus on your environment. As women, we definitely try to say yes too much. We're people pleasers, and we think we're capable of accomplishing everything, even if it kills us. Take inventory of that and slow down. Just because we live in this fast world does not mean that we have to do all the things.
Mhm.
I have learned that the hard way. Number 2 is listen to your body. Go to bed when it says to go to bed. Eat when you're supposed to, not just because, oh, I'm going to a dinner or I'm going to a lunch or society says I need to eat 3 meals a day. Learn to listen to your body. And 3, have fun. I don't think women have enough fun. We allow the boys will be boys, right? They always have fun. Girls don't have enough fun. We're the worker bees. Literally. Do you know anything about bees? Women are the workers. Stop being the worker all the time. Go have fun.
Those are solid. I don't know how I can follow that up. All right. Okay. 3 things. I would say number 1, allow yourself to live in the gray. Stay away from black and white thinking when it comes to pretty much anything. That's where you get tripped up. That's where like the guilt and the shame and all of that comes in on any type of health journey, whatever that looks like. Success really does come from the gray. Second piece, as always, gut focused approach. Do your best to research, figure out how you can best support your gut. If things are super off, please investigate, get some testing done. Not everything is created equal, even if the symptoms are the same. So we're developing so many new like ways of testing and treating gut things. So get tested if things are off, and when you know, you know. And then number 3, like we talked about a little bit earlier, find some sort of accountability partner. Talk about your health and fitness journey with people around you. Because I think you'll be surprised with how much support that you'll receive and accountability as well. And even if it's just psychological, once you tell people, hey, I'm doing this, hey, I'm trying this, I'm going to do this, hey, do you want to join me? That really provides a lot of support that we don't otherwise have. You know, we lack a lot of community these days. And so I think that's really something that can make someone a lot more successful in any type of health journey. That's
Love
it.
it.
1000% agree.
Yeah.
Those are 6 good ones. Okay, ladies, you should be able to rock the world now.
Yeah.
100%. And where can they find you? On social media, websites? Where can the guests find you?
I'm Rachel Claire Functional Health. So Instagram, Rachel Claire HHC for holistic health. Yeah, Instagram, Facebook primarily, but I have a website local to Utah. So yeah.
Awesome. Say Rachel L. Nani on all platforms, all 7 platforms, Rachel L. Nani and rachellnani.com.
Love it.
Awesome. Once again, thank you, ladies, for coming in. I appreciate both of you and your wealth of knowledge between the two of you. There's so much there. And once again, let's get it out of our minds and into our hearts. And although there's lots of testing and everything we could do, definitely don't rearrange your furniture in the dark. Don't follow the trends. But at the end of the day, we all have to start with the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Have a great day, everybody.